Look, many people still don't realize this, but fat buildup in the liver is actually a silent enemy that might be damaging your health while you go about your life thinking everything is fine. And I'm not exaggerating. Maybe you are exactly in this situation right now, feeling tired, somewhat bloated, with that strange sensation in the upper right side of your belly, sometimes a nagging ache below your ribs, slow digestion, sudden nausea, lots of gas, or even unexplained weakness. But do you want to know the scariest part? Most of the time, there are no symptoms at all. And that's precisely why so many people only find out when the condition has already reached an advanced stage. The problem is that, meanwhile, that fat is just sitting there, accumulating, causing inflammation in your liver, overloading every single cell. Then you start having changes in liver enzymes like AST and ALT, and often you don't even notice. And it doesn't stop at the liver, because the whole body is connected. An inflamed liver triggers a domino effect. It worsens your insulin resistance, raises your triglycerides, increases cholesterol, makes your blood pressure more unstable, and you end up accumulating fat not only in the liver, but also in your belly, arteries, and heart. Not to mention the very high risk of blood clots, strokes, and heart attacks. And yes, all of this often starts with that little sweet treat you eat every day without guilt, that bread at breakfast, that boxed juice you think is healthy, or that soda you only drink on weekends, which, in your mind, causes no harm, but it does. And this is exactly where many people go wrong, because there is a false belief that, oh, I don't drink alcohol, so my liver must be fine. But that's not true. Nowadays, the biggest cause of fatty liver is no longer alcohol. It is poor diet, lack of exercise, and excess refined carbohydrates and hidden sugars in food. And if you think being slim protects you, I'm sorry to say, it doesn't protect you either. In my clinic, I see many slim patients who don't drink but still have livers full of fat. And when I ask about their routine, it's the classic combo. Breakfast with bread, margarine, and sweetened coffee. Lunch with rice, beans, and lots of processed or fried meat. And at night, more bread, pizza, salty snacks, cookies. Add sedentary lifestyle, stress, sleepless nights, and there you have it. The liver collapses. Now, to help you understand how serious this is, studies show that more than 1 billion people worldwide already have fatty liver disease. In the United States alone, nearly 30% of the population suffers from this condition. And do you know what's even more shocking? Children and teenagers are already becoming part of this statistic. Children, yes, because they're fed the same way, filled cookies, boxed juices, fast food, and zero physical activity. This means that this generation faces a real risk of developing very early on not only liver problems, but also high blood pressure, diabetes, heart attacks, and even liver cancer. And when I say it is a silent enemy, it's because in most cases, while you are living your life thinking everything is okay, your liver is already overloaded, inflamed, struggling to keep functioning. And only when it can't take it anymore, the more serious signs begin. Sometimes you have a routine blood test, and you see that AST and ALT levels are sky high. And then the shock hits. Doctor, but I don't feel anything. How is that possible? Well, because fatty liver is sneaky. And that is what worries me. Because the longer you take to act, the higher the risks of it progressing to fibrosis, cirrhosis, and in the worst cases, liver cancer. But there is one more detail that few people tell you. Fatty liver disease does not remain confined to the liver alone. It is closely connected to your cardiovascular risk. That's right, the leading cause of death for people with fat in their liver is neither cirrhosis nor liver cancer. It is heart attacks and strokes. This happens because fat in the liver is just the tip of the iceberg of a much larger inflammation occurring throughout your entire body. It is your body screaming that your metabolism is collapsing. Now, let me ask you a straightforward question. Are you going to wait for this to happen before taking action? Because in reality, this is exactly what many people do. They only change when they get scared, when they find out there is an abnormality in their test results, when someone close to them has a heart attack, when they suddenly lose a family member, and then panic sets in. But look, it does not have to be that way. You absolutely can turn things around. The good news is that, unlike other organs, the liver is one of the few in the body that can regenerate. If you start taking care of it, it responds quickly. It cleanses itself, regenerates, and recovers. However, for this to happen, you need to stop giving it the things that are slowly killing it and start providing the foods and habits it needs to heal. And you know what? This is not just about your liver. It's about living longer, living better, with more energy, more vitality, better health, and without fear of what might happen in a few years. Because health is not about luck, it is about choices, and the decision is in your hands. If there is one thing you must understand today, it is that there are certain foods that are literally destroying your liver. And the worst part is that many times they are on your plate every day. Maybe you even think you eat healthily, that you do nothing wrong, that everything is fine. But when I tell you what these foods actually do to your body, you will understand why, even trying to take care of yourself, your liver could be full of fat, inflamed, and slowly leading you down a very dangerous path. Let me start with what is undoubtedly one of the greatest enemies of your health: sugar. Yes, sugar itself. And don't think I'm only talking about the sugar you add to your coffee. I mean the sugar hidden in cookies, bread, breakfast cereals, snack bars you believe are healthy, ready-made sauces, ketchup, mayonnaise, boxed juices, sodas. It's in almost everything. And do you know what science says about this? Diets high in sugar are directly linked to fat accumulation in the liver. This is not guesswork, it is scientific fact. In fact, studies conducted on obese children showed that just 9 days without sugar in their diet was enough to reduce nearly 4% of the fat in their livers. Now stop and think. If this happened in 9 days, imagine what reducing sugar can do for your body, your health, and your liver over the coming months. But sugar is not working alone in this destructive process. It has a partner even more dangerous, more deceptive, and many people don't even realize they consume it: high fructose corn syrup. You might be thinking, "Doctor, I don't consume that. I don't have it at home." But you do, you just don't notice it. It is in sodas, boxed juices, jams, cookies, cakes, ready-made sauces, and processed foods. This type of syrup is poison for your liver. And why? Because excess fructose, especially when coming from industrial sources like this syrup, is metabolized directly in the liver. And do you know what happens inside? An enormous overload that causes inflammation, fat buildup, and in the long term, fibrosis, cirrhosis, and even liver cancer. And it doesn't stop there. All of this further increases your resistance to insulin, bringing you closer to diabetes, heart attacks, and strokes. It's like a snowball rolling downhill, getting bigger and more dangerous. The most shocking part is that the industry is fully aware of this. They also know that this syrup is cheap, enhances the taste of food, and makes you eat more. So they add it to everything without any shame, while your health is being ruined, one pack of cookies at a time, one sip of juice after another. And if you think things are already bad, hold on, because it doesn't stop there. Another major culprit, one you probably never imagined could be linked to fatty liver disease, is salt. And no, I'm not talking about the salt you sprinkle on your food while cooking. I mean the salt hidden in processed foods. It's the salt found in instant noodles, cold cuts like ham, turkey breast, sausages, mortadella, salami, and smoked sausage, in ready-made sauces, frozen lasagnas, chicken nuggets, and sliced bread. It's that salt you don't even realize you're consuming, but it's there. And do you know what science has discovered? A study published in the journal Nature in November of 2021 showed that a diet high in salt is directly linked to an increase in fat buildup in the liver. That's right, salt, besides causing high blood pressure, water retention, and raising the risk of heart attacks and strokes, also damages your liver. The worst part is that many people think they are careful because they don't add much salt when cooking, but they completely overlook the salt present in processed foods, and that is where the real danger lies. So let me ask you, how many times a week do you eat bread, pasta, cookies? That warm, crusty bread in the morning, the Sunday lasagna, the Friday night pizza, all of these are sources of refined wheat. And refined wheat is another ingredient that goes straight to your liver in the form of fat, because it is quickly converted into glucose, causing insulin spikes, inflammation, and consequently overburdening the liver. This isn't about never eating these foods again. It's about understanding that if these form the base of your daily diet, the outcome is clear. Your liver will suffer the consequences. And to finish this list of the worst enemies of your liver, here come the saturated fats. And I know many will cringe hearing this because I'm talking about bacon for breakfast, a fatty steak on the barbecue, yellow cheese on your sandwich, melting butter, that sausage on the grill. I get it because all of this is delicious. But the truth is simple. These fats inflame your body, inflame your liver, raise cholesterol, increase the risk of insulin resistance, diabetes, high blood pressure, and of course, fill your liver with more and more fat. And don't fool yourself. Oh, doctor, it's only once in a while. Once in a while every day, right? Because it starts at breakfast with cheese and butter, continues at lunch with fatty meat, and ends at dinner with something else loaded with fat, wheat, or salt. This is what, without you realizing it, is leading you to fatty liver disease, inflammation, fibrosis, and, if you don't change, to a real risk of cirrhosis later on, or worse, a heart attack or stroke long before that happens. And you know what makes me even more upset? Nobody tells you this. The industry doesn't tell you. The packaging doesn't tell you. And often even health professionals don't clearly explain it. So you keep thinking everything is fine, that one little bread roll here, a sweet treat there, a soda just on weekends doesn't harm you. But it does, and it harms much more than you imagine. So from now on, you know. The knowledge is in your hands. And now the choice is yours. Will you keep feeding your body poison every day? Or you can start today, taking care of your liver and overall health before it becomes too late. Because if there is one thing I can assure you of, it is that the one who ends up paying the price is you. Now, listen, if up until this point I've shown you everything that is quietly damaging your liver, I want you to take a deep breath now, because here comes the good part. Just as there are foods that harm you every day, there are also foods that can literally save your liver. And I'm not just saying this. It is based on scientific studies, real data, and serious research that confirm the powerful effects certain foods have not only in reversing fat accumulation in the liver, but also in preventing much more serious diseases such as heart attacks, strokes, diabetes, and even cancer. Let me start by talking about something that for many people is almost a sacred ritual: coffee. That's right, and if you enjoy coffee, you have a reason to celebrate, because it is not only allowed but actually recommended. Studies show that those who regularly drink coffee have less inflammation in the liver, a lower risk of fibrosis, and even a reduced chance of progressing to cirrhosis and liver cancer. And do you know why? Because coffee is very rich in bioactive compounds like polyphenols, chlorogenic acid, and even caffeine itself, which have anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and protective effects on liver tissue. This means that your daily cup of coffee is literally acting as a shield against fat buildup in the liver. But pay attention, coffee without sugar, okay? Because if you overload it with sugar, you simply cancel out all its benefits. And one more detail. It is better to avoid it after 2 o'clock in the afternoon so it doesn't interfere with your sleep. Because yes, poor sleep also damages your liver. And if coffee is practically a shield for your liver, extra virgin olive oil is like a healing balm. Olive oil is extremely rich in good fats, especially monounsaturated fatty acids, along with anti-inflammatory and antioxidant compounds that are simply fantastic for your liver health. And this is not just some fitness trend talk. There are robust studies conducted at major universities worldwide showing that people who consume 3 to 4 tablespoons of olive oil per day experience a significant reduction in fat accumulated in the liver. And you don't need to take it by the spoonful. The secret is to add it to your lunch salad, your dinner salad, drizzle it over your vegetables, your warm dishes. Make olive oil your main daily ally. And those who do this not only protect their liver, but also improve cholesterol, reduce the risk of heart attacks, control blood sugar, and as a bonus, help with abdominal fat loss. And since we are talking about powerful allies, I cannot forget to mention fiber. It is absolutely essential. And there is no mystery here. The more fiber you consume, the more you nourish your intestines with what they need to function properly. And what does this have to do with the liver? Everything. Because when your intestines are healthy, they prevent toxins, inflammation, and harmful compounds from reaching the liver. This is called the gut-liver axis, and it is crucial for your health. Foods like oats, chia seeds, flaxseed, whole grains, nuts, walnuts, and of course many green leafy vegetables are true gifts for your health. And it doesn't stop there. A recent study conducted in Sweden showed that green leafy vegetables, such as lettuce, arugula, and spinach, are rich in nitrogen compounds that help prevent and even reverse fatty liver disease. That's right. That simple plate of salad that many people neglect actually has enormous power to protect and restore your liver. Here comes a question that many people often ask. Doctor, what about fruit? Is it okay to eat? Doesn't it have fructose? This is actually one of the biggest misconceptions I encounter in my practice. People tend to demonize fruit, thinking it's harmful because of the fructose content. But let me share a truth that few explain properly. The issue isn't the fructose found naturally in fruit, but rather the isolated, concentrated fructose present in industrial syrups, sodas, sweets, and ultra-processed foods. The natural fructose in fruit comes along with fiber, vitamins, antioxidants, and bioactive compounds that are truly beneficial for your body. And listen, some fruits are actually natural medicines for your liver. Take avocado, for instance. It's packed with healthy fats that help reduce inflammation and protect the liver. Acai, when it's the pasteurized, unsweetened kind, is extremely rich in antioxidants. Research shows it can reduce liver inflammation and improve fatty liver disease. And if you, like me, have heard of or had the chance to taste araxá or cambuci, typical Brazilian fruits, know that they also offer protective effects against fat buildup in the liver. These are gifts from nature that we often overlook. Finally, one of the most powerful foods you can start adding to your daily routine right now is turmeric, also known as curcuma. And this isn't just folk wisdom, okay? This is pure science. Turmeric contains a compound called curcumin, which is highly anti-inflammatory and antioxidant. Studies indicate that it significantly lowers liver enzymes AST and ALT, which are the main markers of liver inflammation. In practice, this means regular consumption of turmeric helps reduce inflammation in your liver, promotes regeneration, and also protects against other inflammatory diseases throughout the body. How do you use it? It's easy. Start adding it to your everyday meals, in beans, vegetables, rice, soup, meat. Or prepare that well-known morning shot: a little turmeric, freshly squeezed lemon juice, a pinch of black pepper to enhance absorption, and if you like, a drizzle of olive oil. This is truly an elixir for your health. And do you know what's the most beautiful part of all this? Contrary to what many believe, taking care of your health and protecting your liver isn't about trendy diets or spending fortunes on supplements or miracle treatments. It's about going back to basics. It's about incorporating into your routine foods that nature already provides, that are accessible, that belong to our culture, to our table. And once you understand their power, you realize that real medicine starts right here, on your plate, every day. If you do that, your liver will thank you. Your whole body will thank you. Because the transformation this brings is simply incredible. There's something very serious you need to understand, and I have to say it with all the clarity I can, because unfortunately, almost no one tells you this. If you think fatty liver is an isolated problem that only affects the liver, I need to tell you nothing could be further from the truth. The reality is that fatty liver is not just a liver disease. It's actually a reflection of a whole body that's inflamed, out of balance, and quietly heading toward much more serious problems. I'm talking about life-threatening issues: heart attacks, strokes, thrombosis, sudden death. And look, this is not exaggeration. This is not meant to scare you. This is scientific fact. Studies show that the leading cause of death among people with fatty liver disease is not cirrhosis, not liver cancer. It's cardiovascular disease. That's right, heart attacks, strokes, thrombosis. So I ask you, have you ever stopped to consider just how serious this really is? Because often, a person finds out they have fat in their liver during a routine medical checkup, thinks it's something minor, believes there's no need to worry, and figures it can be dealt with later. Meanwhile, their body is actually breaking down. Inflammation is increasing more and more. Their arteries are clogging up. Their heart and brain are being overworked. And when they least expect it, something happens. And then comes that well-known reaction. Wow, they looked so healthy. It didn't even seem like they had any health issues. That's exactly how it is. Fatty liver disease is like that. It's silent, it's sneaky, and it doesn't discriminate by age or appearance. And it's not just about what you eat, it's about your entire lifestyle. Because fatty liver is just the tip of a much larger problem called metabolic syndrome. And maybe you don't even realize you have it. But let me ask you, do you have high blood pressure? Is your cholesterol out of range? Are your triglycerides elevated? That stubborn belly that just won't go away? Or that pre-diabetes your doctor told you to keep an eye on, but you keep living as if it doesn't matter? Well, all of that is part of the same picture, and all of it goes hand in hand with fatty liver. Because when your liver is inflamed, it's not just staying there. Your whole bloodstream is carrying that inflammation. Your arteries start to harden and clog up. Your pancreas begins to suffer. Your blood pressure rises. Your cholesterol shoots up. And your risk of heart attack, stroke, and thrombosis simply skyrockets. And the scariest part is that you don't even feel it, because just like fatty liver, hypertension is silent, insulin resistance is silent, the buildup of plaque in arteries is silent until it's not. So I ask you sincerely, what are you waiting for to make a change? Are you going to wait for that phone call in the middle of the night telling you a family member is unwell? Are you going to wait for the shock at the doctor's office when they look at you and say, "Look, your artery is 80% blocked"? Are you going to wake up one day with a drooping face, unable to speak properly because you've had a stroke? Because unfortunately, that's how most people wake up to reality. Shocked, in pain, traumatized. But let me tell you something you might not have heard before. It doesn't have to be this way. You can turn this around. You can rewrite your story. And it's not medicine that does it. It's you, your choices, what you put on your plate, what you decide to do or not do with your body every day. Because just as the liver quietly becomes ill, it also has an incredible ability to heal itself. Your body wants to recover. Your body wants to heal. But it can't do that if every day you keep giving it the things that are slowly killing you. And I know that maybe you're thinking right now, but doctor, I'm already a certain age. Does it really make a difference? And I answer you with all certainty, yes, it does. It's always time to change. It's always time to take care of yourself. Studies show that people who start changing their habits, even after 60, 70 years of age, can reverse fatty liver, lower blood pressure, control diabetes, reduce cardiovascular risk, and most importantly, gain better quality of life, more energy, more vitality, and more years of life. And it's not just more years, it's better years. Because living longer while carrying illness, taking medicine every day, suffering hospital stays, pain, and limitations, that's not living, that's surviving, and I don't want that for you. So I ask you a question that I honestly hope you will reflect on deeply. What kind of life do you want to live from now on? Because in the end, the choice will always be yours. It's not about being perfect, no. It's about taking the first step. It's about looking at your plate today and deciding to add more things that heal you, nourish you, and protect you, and fewer things that cause inflammation, poison you, and make you sick. It's about choosing to get up from the couch and take that walk. It's about realizing that every decision you make today, every single choice, is shaping your future. A future filled with health, vitality, and energy, or a future full of limitations, medications, hospital stays, and regrets. Because in the end, let me tell you something, there are no miracles, there is no magic pill, there is responsibility, and it's right here in your hands. And the question is, will you wait until your body screams for help before you start taking care of it? Or will you begin now, while there is still time, because it's possible, and your body is just waiting for that? If there is one thing I want you to take away from this video, it's that fat in the liver is not just a minor isolated problem. It's a clear sign that your entire body is calling for help. And at the same time, it's not a sentence, it's a warning. Because thankfully, your liver has an incredible ability to regenerate itself, as long as you start making the right choices from today onward. And this is not just about living longer, it's about living better with energy, enthusiasm, and most importantly, true health. And look, if you're still here, it means you care, you're committed to your health, and I assure you, you're on the right path. And if you want to keep climbing another step on this journey of transformation, the next video appearing on your screen will help you understand the most common mistakes that are damaging your heart and circulation, and of course, how you can protect yourself from them. So don't waste time. Click now because I'll be waiting for you there so we can continue together on this path toward a much healthier and more balanced life. Thank you so much for staying with me until now, and I'll see you in the next video.